date with an avoidant attachment style. So I'm going to talk first about the 4 main attachment styles, but actually the 3 main attachment styles. There are 4, and the 3 main ones are secure, anxious, and avoidant. I think the third one is chaotic, something like that. But that's not one that most people talk about, so we're just going to I'll talk a little bit about each one, and then I'm going to dive deeper into the avoidant attachment style. And the reason that I'm talking about this is because this week in the Your Last First Date group, the topic of being emotionally unavailable came up. We often say men are so emotionally unavailable and we can't really connect with them and they're not really available for a relationship. And what's really important is for us to look and see if we too are emotionally unavailable. So if you have an avoidant attachment style, or you're dating somebody or have dated somebody who has one, this video is for you. A little bit about each attachment style. Securely attached people tend to have relationships that are happy, they last long, and they're built on mutual trust. This is a big word, trust. We both trust each other. These two people feel comfortable expressing feelings and needs to each other. They can easily meet their partner's needs, ask for help. It's a lovely, lovely, easy relationship. Anxiously attached people tend to feel insecure in their relationships, and many of my clients are anxiously attached. They need to be reassured frequently that they are loved, they are worthy of love, and this can feel really clingy and needy to people who have a secure or avoidant attachment style. And now for the avoidant. The avoidant attachment styles are people who are independent and they feel really uncomfortable with extreme vulnerability and intimacy. If they have too much closeness, it feels really suffocating. And because they struggle with deep intimacy and trust, they often unconsciously create situations and reasons to sabotage a relationship or leave. I have many clients like this where things start to get tough and they're just like, I'm out of here. So if that's ever happened to you, let me know. It's definitely happened to me. And they tend to connect to a partner and then pull away when the relationship feels too intense. They don't talk about their feelings. They often don't even notice their feelings easily. They keep their emotions pretty guarded because it feels vulnerable. And vulnerable feelings like embarrassment or failure or any kind of perceived weakness are things that they keep heavily guarded. How do you know if you have an avoidant attachment style? I'm going to list a couple of things that are features of somebody with an avoidant attachment style, and if you have any of them, please let me know. You might have an avoidant attachment style if you don't like talking about or have a hard time naming your feelings. If you're proud of being independent and you're afraid of losing your independence in a relationship. If you feel that people often let you down, especially men. If you are not comfortable asking for help. If you feel that relationships are a lot of work and you're not sure if it's worth the effort. If you feel that most of the people you date want to get close way too fast. If you need a lot of space when you're in a relationship, and if you feel that you don't need much from anyone, like you can do it all. So if any of these ring true, you might be an avoidant attachment person. All attachment styles are the result of our earliest relationships with our parents or our caregivers and how they responded or didn't respond to our needs. So if you are an avoidant attachment style, if you have an avoidant attachment style, that's formed when your parents or caretakers were unavailable, preoccupied, or disinterested. And that doesn't have to look like an unloving home, but it can look like you bring home something you're really proud of and your parents don't have time for you. Or they only expect you to do really well in school, and if you don't, you're ashamed, So they're not really paying attention to what you need and want, but what they need and want. There are many people who grow up with parents who want them to be a certain profession, and so they push them into becoming a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, even though the child doesn't really want to because they're not really interested in paying attention to what the child needs and wants. So if you were a child who was brought up with parents who were disinterested or unresponsive, you can grow up feeling that you're not important and your needs will not be met. And when your needs are not met, you start to bury them and you start to be independent and rely on yourself. And you act like you don't really have many needs or feelings. And so when children feel like their parents don't have a desire to know them, they can feel empty, they can lack a sense of self, and they have a hard time validating thoughts, feelings, and dreams. The reason that people with an avoidant attachment don't look to others for comfort or support is because their earliest experiences with their parents and caretakers showed them that people are not trustworthy. People in their lives are not going to soothe them. So since it's hard to ask for help, then they try to do everything themselves. To other people, when you're an avoidant and you do everything yourself, you look strong, independent, in control, resilient. And a lot of men are attracted to strong, independent women. But if you're doing everything yourself, you're really telling men, I don't need you. And most men are going to be pushed away and they're usually going to leave because they don't see a place for themselves. And avoidants are often unaware of their feelings because of all those years of pushing them away or stuffing them. Difficult feelings, when you don't know how to deal with them, can feel really scary and they can feel really overwhelming. But if we don't know how to be emotionally intelligent and emotionally resilient and don't deal with our feelings, then it's really almost impossible to have deep connection with other people and with ourselves. We're reactive, we're holding things in. It's really unhealthy. So let's talk about avoidant attachment style in relationship. So although people with an avoidant attachment style are independent and they are most comfortable being self-reliant, most people with this attachment style really do want to be in a relationship. They are often good people, they're kind, they're considerate, but if you get too close to them, they want to run away or break up. And the root of their desire to flee is they are so afraid of being abandoned, and so they will leave first. So if you have this style, you can move towards a more secure attachment by, and this is what I do every time I work with clients who have an avoidant attachment style. Actually, most clients have either avoidant or anxious. Getting in touch with your feelings, really starting to get into your body. What am I feeling? What am I needing? That's where it starts, because if we don't know what we're feeling, then we're just operating from reactivity, from our thoughts, from our woundedness. And then we can, once we know what we need, then we can get curious and interested in what our partners need, what their feelings are. We can share more of our deeper thoughts and feelings. And this is key, we can also ask for help. So I'm going to name a few more things you can do in order to have a good relationship if you have an avoidant attachment style. If you're single, you can look for a partner with a more secure attachment. I have seen this many times where people who are secure end up attracting someone who is anxious or avoidant, and being with a secure attachment style person has helped them feel more trust and more secure. The next thing you can do is practice identifying your feelings and communicating them directly. When we're not in touch with our feelings or we don't know how to communicate well, we're often indirect, and we hope that by hinting, somehow somebody's going to guess exactly what we need and be able to help us. And that almost never happens. People are terrible at mind reading, and so we have to know what we need, what we feel, and be able to say it direct. directly. And it takes practice. So this is what I want you to do. Try to share just a little bit more of your feelings and needs and thoughts with everybody you're close to, not just the men you date, but everyone. Let people in. Spend time getting to know yourself more. What's your need? What's your wants? Anytime you have to make a choice, what do I really want and need? And notice when you're distancing yourself and try to come back to center and stay in connection even when it feels uncomfortable. And you can even say, I'm feeling myself distancing. This is a pattern of mine. I'm trying to break it. That is vulnerable, but you can ask for support in staying together when you feel like running away. You can also practice asking for help and support. This is essential. We are so bad at this, and I myself have been terrible at asking for help and support in the past. When you ask for help and support, you're actually giving a gift to somebody so that they can help support you. Another thing that you can do is not try to do it all alone. So ask for support from a coach or a therapist. I work on helping women who have avoidant attachment styles, women who are emotionally unavailable. I help them become available and attached to the right partner. So feel free to book a session with me. All you need to do is go to lastfirstdate.com/breakthrough. Let's talk. Let's talk about breaking this pattern because you deserve to have the love that you want. And if you keep doing things the way you've been doing, it will be really hard to change. So change takes time, but it also takes support, and the right kind of support can make all the difference in the world. So get in touch, and I hope to talk to you soon.